Welcome back to 5 Single Shadows a Day.
When your palettes are full and your shadows are dull, 5 single shadows a day. When your collection's huge but your time is used, 5 single shadows a day.
This is the series where I'm decluttering my indie single shadows 5 at a time. Today, I grabbed this sequin palette from Tarte because once upon a time, Tarte had empty magnetic palettes. And for a while, this was where I kept all of my iridescent shadows, and I knew every day when I'm doing my makeup, I would reach in here and I would choose which iridescent I wanted for my inner corner. And a while ago, it became hijacked by non-iridescents, and now it's that palette that I have some iridescents in and some random other stuff. And today something happened. I've said how my single shadows have been in disarray for a long time. I don't have a good organization system. They're all out of whack and too spread out over too many palettes. This morning, as I was getting ready for work and just trying to move them out of the way, I dropped this palette. It opened slightly, and a bunch fell out on my floor, and there were 2 that were damaged. So the first one is this. This is Strobe from Glaminatrix, and my first feeling was disappointment because it looks really nice in the pan. It looks kind of dimensional and sparkly. I pushed a bunch of it back in. That's what it looks like. And in that moment, I was like, I have to figure out what I'm going to do about this. I have to figure out if it's worth trying to save, or if it's something I'm just going to want to replace, or what. So I wore it on my eyes today for work. I can insert that footage here. And you know what? I thought it was nice, but I also thought it was kind of average. I think that's the thing with having such a large collection, is something could be a good shadow, but still not worth keeping. And I think the biggest indicator of that was the fact that when I saw it was this one that fell, I was judging it like we had never met before. I wasn't judging it as a shadow that's part of my collection. In the past, when I would break shadows, I'd be like, oh no, I'm sad about this because of XYZ. And this, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. So on my eyes today, did it work for work? Yeah. Was it nice? Yeah. But it wasn't anything particularly groundbreaking or special, you know? I also reviewed the footage where I first tried this out. It was in a Glaminatrix video earlier this year, and I even said in that, I'm like, I like the formula. I see some interesting sparkles and stuff to this, but I just feel kind of about it. I think it looks okay. I have so many shadows that knock my socks off. This one's broken. I'm gonna declutter it. And then the only other shadow that broke, not as bad, but I mean, it's still broken, is this one from Pretties for Your Face. This is the shade Light as a Feather. It has some of the sparkles of Strobe on top of it, but if we ignore that, it looks like a light pink base. But the reason I always kept with my iridescence is because it has a teal sheen to it. But because of that light pink base, you don't really see that on my inner corner, but I never reached for it that much because it never really stood out to me. And this is a shade too. It wasn't on my radar to declutter. I could definitely keep it. It's really not badly damaged at all, but I'm kind of taking it as a sign because I didn't wear it that much. And my goal is to clear out the clutter in my single shadows. I have a teal iridescent from Cliona that I love. It's a shade Brilliance. I don't think they still sell it, but it was in last year's holiday box. And that's the shade that I want to wear as a teal inner corner. Oh, I also have one from Shine by SD that I like wearing as a teal inner corner. And after I finish this process and my shadows are organized again, if I indeed continue having this be an iridescent palette and I have those shades in here, I would always grab for those over this one. So yeah, I'm kind of taking this as a sign and I'm decluttering this one too. I also have some copacetic shades in here. My relationship with copacetic is that a couple years ago, I placed a small order and one of the shades was this one, which is Ball Drop. It's a flaky and it's a really beautiful shadow. And as you can see, sure, it's a little bit flaky, but it's nothing too dramatic. It has a beautiful brownish berryish base and this blue or teal cool sparkle to it. It's so pretty. So because of the success with this one, I ordered more flakies. It might have been the next year. So I ordered a bunch of flakies, even though I had heard from my comments that they're definitely not all created equal. I was like, this one's so nice. I just didn't believe that I would order some and not like them at all. But that's kind of what happened. So let's see what we have. And also because it's been several years, I don't think that they stayed like binded as well. Because the flakies that I ordered were definitely way more flaky than Ball Drop is. So this one's Long Farewell. Yeah, it picks up very chunky. Did you see that? It made like a big wall of flake and then it fell off of my arm onto my surface. It does have a nice reflect to it. It's kind of like a mauvey base with like a cool lavender shimmer, but it's swatched super uneven. I think you could tell like this spot is very heavy and like thick with product. And then where like I stretched out to, there's just like a little bit of sparkle there. I bet this could work nicely as a topper if I wanted it to, if I wanted to like put a sheer layer on top of a look, but that's just not the kind of thing that I do. And if I thought of doing that, I would think of using an iridescent. I wouldn't think of using this. So Long Farewell, I guess it's been kind of a long farewell because the moment I got it, I knew I would eventually declutter it. And there it is. Farewell. Let's see what else we got. Butternut Squash. I did actually just rewatch the end of that copacetic video where I was talking about the ones I liked more and liked less. And this was one that I liked more. I'm just not that impressed by the shade of it. I don't know. I feel like my mind's kind of made up on these anyway because I have the experience of having owned them for years and really never reaching for them unless it came up in like a random palette and I challenged myself to. And I know with a smaller collection, I'll definitely be more likely to use some undervalued shades, but I just feel like this is the shade that I get rid of to get to other undervalued ones, not the other way around, you know? So I do think Butternut Squash made a nicer swatch than Long Farewell, and past me seemed to think so also, but it's just not enough for present me to want to keep it. Okay, and I see one more in here. Yeah, I just moved my arm and like more, more flakes flaked off. This is As the World Falls Down, which was not one that I mentioned as one that I liked best. Yeah, this is very loose and flaky. Even like out of focus. The sparkle is really nice. Like it does have that like cool toned, catches the light sparkle. All of these do. I just really don't like the formula. And because it's so patchy and uneven, it would really only work over something else, and it's just not worth it. Again, look how nice Ball Drop is. I want to remember to use Ball Drop more, and I feel like ever since I bought more copacetic, I've been using Ball Drop less, and I just want Ball Drop to be like my one copacetic shadow again. So the 5 shadows for today are Copacetic, Butternut Squash, As the World Falls Down, Long Farewell, Pretties for Your Face, Light as a Feather, and Glaminatrix Strobe. And you know, this palette is definitely still overwhelmed by intruders, and there's probably still a couple more intruders in this palette that I'll be decluttering in the coming days. But for now, it's an improvement, and it's a step towards reclaiming this, having my iridescent palette back again, because I miss it so much. I've gotten used to recently putting on a makeup look and then just like putting on an iridescent that I wouldn't normally choose with the look just because like that's what's available. That's what I know where it is. And I miss the days of my selection. That's going to be everything for today. If you enjoyed this, I hope you'll give me a thumbs up and subscribe. There's going to be lots more decluttering videos to come, and there's a lot already on my channel this month. Either way, thank you so much for being here. Bye!